There is only one who is omniscient. There is only one who is truly good. And my friends, that is not Santa Claus. We will see in today's podcast that God fills that attribute. And if today you look at Scripture, possibly you will also see the need to let your children know the truth about Santa Claus. Here's our podcast for today.
Next attribute. Santa is also omniscient. He's omniscient. Now, I think this is one of Santa's creepier attributes. Santa seemingly knows everything. Consider the words of John Coots in Haven Gillespie's 1934 song, Santa Claus is Coming to Town. We all know that song, right? Santa Claus is coming to town. Here's what it says. He knows if you've been sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. He knows if you've been sleeping. He knows if you're awake. That's kind of creepy, is it not? From his home at the North Pole, Santa possesses the ability to know when each and every child, and presumably adult, on earth is sleeping and awake. Compare Santa's power with that of God. Proverbs 15 verse 3 says this, "The eyes of the Lord are in every place, keeping watch on the evil and the good." That's kind of creepy, isn't it? I mean, not God, but it's creepy that Santa has the exact same power and ability that God does. The Bible tells us that the eyes of the Lord are in every place, keeping watch on the evil and the good, and yet we know from Santa, he knows if you've been sleeping, he knows when you're awake, he knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. It's that the line out of that song, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, that line is in a lot of ways almost word for word Proverbs 15 verse 3. You can certainly say it's a very, very close paraphrase of Proverbs 15:3. Santa knows our behavior and apparently is qualified to make judgments as to its meritorious value. He sees all and he knows all. Omniscience is one of God's unique and incommunicable attributes per Job chapter 21 verse 22, Psalm chapter 33 verses 13 through 15, Psalm chapter 139 verses 1 through 4, and Matthew chapter 6 verse 4, among others. So, Santa is omniscient, he's omnipresent, and also Santa is good. He's good. Santa is portrayed as a kind, gentle, jovial, and good man. He is good via his authority to determine which children have been bad or good. Okay? Now, good is a word that we often use to describe everything from people to some desired outcome or to fried chicken. You know, good is almost kind of like a catch-all phrase. Well, it's a good day. That's a good meal. The football team had a good day. Whatever. Good is, we use good for a lot of things. Now, some will undoubtedly think I'm stretching here, but describing Santa as good is problematic when it's coupled with all of the other divine attributes ascribed to Santa. God's standard of goodness is moral perfection and complete obedience as measured by the Ten Commandments. And none of us measure up to that standard, dear friends. None of us do. We have all sinned, Romans 3:23, and all of us have hearts that are deceitful above all things and desperately wicked, per Jeremiah 17, verse 9. The Apostle Paul stated in Romans chapter 7, verse 18, Paul says that nothing good dwells in him. He knew that. Nothing good dwells in me, he said in Romans chapter 7. In Romans chapter 3, Paul says that there are none good, no, not one. No one is good except Santa. Santa is good. Santa is good by his nature. This, too, is in direct opposition to Scripture. In a statement affirming his own deity, Jesus told the rich young ruler very plainly, in Mark chapter 10, Jesus told the rich young ruler, "No one is good except God alone." God's goodness, his sometimes referred to as his omnibenevolence, God's goodness is original to him and is not possessed by any of the fallen created order. Okay? Per Psalm 52 verse 1, Psalm 107 verse 8, Psalm 119 verse 68, and 1 John 1 5. God's goodness is original to him and is not possessed by any of the fallen created beings, you and me. Santa's goodness, the fact that Santa is good by his own character and nature, separates him from every other created thing, and it puts him in the class of God. Puts him in the God class. Some say I'm stretching on that. I don't think I am. Not at all. Not at all. Not when you take every thought captive. Not when you examine everything through the lens of Scripture. Test all things. Hold fast to that which is true. 1 Thessalonians 5:21. I don't think it's a stretch at all. Next attribute.